Okay. I call this meeting of the Rotary Club of Oakland to order. I'm Dudley Thompson and have the honor to serve as the president of the Rotary Club of Oakland. We were founded in 1908, and we are the third established club of some 36,000 clubs in over 200 countries around the world. I'm going to stop for 1 second. Jack, you think? No? Okay. We're a diverse community of some 300 local business, professional, and community leaders who unite to improve our local and international communities through a common commitment of service above self. For over 113 years, we've welcomed Rotarians and guests to our meetings. And I welcome you to this, our 5,365th meeting. For those of you attending online, if you are a visiting Rotarian or the guest of a Rotarian, please enter your name in the chat box located at the center of the bottom of the screen so that we can recognize you in a few minutes. We also recommend that you view today's meeting using Speaker View located in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. If you have comments or want to ask a question of the speaker, please use the chat box. Under current Alameda County guidelines and our club protocols, it is required that you wear a mask when you're not eating or drinking. We're trying to make this a safe space, as safe as possible for our members and guests, and still have a great meeting. I also ask that you refrain from talking during the meeting, as sound becomes background noise on our broadcast. We had problems last week with AV. I apologize for that. It is not the fault of the AV committee. You need to love these people. We spent 2.5 hours last night working on everything. We had it perfect. We're almost there. The only thing that's not working right now is this podium mic. But everybody, we seem to be good on Zoom. We seem to be good on the ballroom, except for the mic right now. And I tell you, Jack in particular, you've got to love this guy, please. This is I can't tell you, his nerves are frayed. And 5 minutes ago, we didn't know we were going to cancel the meeting or not. Peter Sherris and Alex Polson and I were all in here last night. These guys are great and really trying to pull this off. I will say that the sound is incredibly better than what we've had in the past. Some of the issues that we had before have been worked out. This is the one we didn't get. Sorry about that. Lewis Griggs, are you out there?
I am.
You lead us in the thought for the day, please.
I will. And the thought from the day, luckily today, comes from today's speaker of her wonderful book, Race and Restorative Justice. And her thought is that restorative justice is profoundly relational and emphasizes bringing together everyone affected by wrongdoing in order to address the needs and responsibilities and to heal the harm to relationships and community to the degree possible, while often mistakenly considered only a reactive response to harm. Restorative justice is also a proactive relational strategy to create a culture of connectivity where all members of the community thrive and feel valued. That's her words.
Thank you, Lewis. Do we have the Rotary mission statement we can put up there? Would you please join me in the Rotary mission statement? Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and around the world.
And in ourselves.
In ourselves. Many of you are familiar with the Cerrone Lena Scholarship Fund. Last month, Al Cerrone Jr. died. His father started the fund. Al contributed to the fund for many, many years. Al was, in his obit, it said he was many things to many people, a dedicated businessman, absolutely fearless heli-skier, fly fisherman, excellent golfer, gifted card player and racehorse owner and enthusiast. Can we just take a minute to remember Al Cerrone and Al Cerrone Jr. and his father, who started such an important committee for and scholarships that have helped so many people over the years. Thank you. Just a moment. Thank you. Louis, can we get you back on? Would you please introduce our speaker for today?
Absolutely. And I'm so wise, I'm going to introduce you with her own words again, with Fanya's words out of this book that were touching to me. And she says, shortly after returning from Africa and completing my PhD, I learned about restorative justice, a justice that seeks not to punish, but to heal, a justice that is not about getting even, but about getting well, a justice that seeks to transform broken lives and relationships and communities rather than shatter them further, a justice that seeks reconciliation rather than a deepening of conflict, a healing justice rather than a harming justice. And learning about this new but ancient justice marked a climax in my own years-long movement toward wholeness. It provoked an epiphany, integrating my inner warrior with my inner healer and uniting the opposites within. Restorative justice allowed me to integrate these hitherto disparate parts. I did not have to choose one and renounce the other. At last, I could be all of me. Fanya Davis, entertain us with your wisdom.
Thank you so much, Louis. Thank you, President Thompson. And thank you, Ms. Sandeepa, and all of you who played a part in organizing this meeting. And I want to give special thanks to the tech team for going above and beyond. May I give you flowers, Oakland Rotary? I want to acknowledge you for, first of all, being the third oldest club in the world and being one of the first clubs in the world to admit women. And I learned when preparing for this presentation that you played a central role in the creation of two beloved features of Oakland, and that's the creation or contributing to the creation of the Necklace of Lights and to Fairyland. I want to acknowledge you also for your enduring community service, especially your college scholarship, literacy mentoring, and hunger and food justice work. Thank you so much for your many years and decades of service to our community. I can't go on without acknowledging that we live, work, and play on the unceded territory of the Chochenyo Ohlone people in what we today know as Oakland, California. I speak at many universities and community organizations across the country, and I see that more and more people, institutions are invoking the ancestors of the land. They're doing land acknowledgements to open public gatherings. And I'd like to take a moment to reflect on the significance of this development that is sweeping the nation, especially in the last couple of years. First, in indigenous cultures, the land does not belong to us. We belong to the land. She is our mother. She nourishes us. She nurtures us. She sustains us. She gives us life. And so it's heritage in ancient cultures to honor and give thanks to the land, to open community gatherings. Thinking of COP26 climate catastrophe and the endless succession of heartbreaking media images of devastation on every continent, floods, earthquakes, fires, extreme cold, storms. We can learn so much from ancient peoples. Above all, when we plunder, pillage, and exploit our Mother Earth, we destroy ourselves, we destroy our children, and we destroy life itself. Imagine a modern world where we honor the earth and all of her inhabitants, where we protect and hold sacred the waters and the air, in the way that indigenous wisdoms do. I believe indigenous insights can light our way into a perilous future, whether it's indigenous insights about justice or indigenous insights about ecology. These are medicines we so direly need today. Also, today, at this historical juncture, to honor the land and its original inhabitants, these land acknowledgements that are happening all over the country, is to acknowledge that just as with slavery and the slave trade, we have yet as a nation to fully recognize, take responsibility for, and take action to repair and prevent recurrence of the colossal harms of colonization, genocide, land theft, and all their living legacies. Today, to invoke the original inhabitants of North American lands is also to acknowledge this country, every acre of it is an occupied land, no less than the West Bank or Ukraine are occupied lands. It is also to acknowledge that ours is a post-genocidal land, no less than Germany or Rwanda are post-genocidal lands. And the fact that in this country it happened 400 years ago, and many would say it's still happening now, as opposed to 80 years or 30 years ago, makes little difference. If anything, it makes things worse since those birth traumas, now more than 400 years old, have become so normalized, so totalized, so baked into, so embedded in, so reified in all our social structures, all our institutions, in the popular culture and in the collective consciousness. So let's take a moment, a brief moment to ingest or to metabolize these complex, long buried truths and these deeply troubling truths about who we are as a nation. Unearthing the truth about harm, facing the truth unflinchingly, disrupting collective denial about our collective biography is an essential first step on the road to new and just and equitable futures for our nation. We need to recognize history's pain, take responsibility for it, take action to repair it, and action to prevent recurrence. This is the restorative justice accountability mantra. It's the 4 R's of restorative justice accountability. In California, the Ohlone people appreciate when we do these land acknowledgements. And they remind us that land acknowledgements recognize harm and perhaps take responsibility for harm, but don't take action to repair harm. They remind us that land acknowledgements are not the same as reparations. Saying sorry is not the same as doing sorry. And so they have asked us to do sorry. They ask non-Indigenous peoples and institutions that live and operate on their ancestral land to pay the Shu'umi land tax. And I'm certain some of you in the audience know about the Shu'umi land tax and the Shogorea Land Trust. This land tax supports rematriation and stewardship of the land. It supports restoring ecosystems, the creeks, the wildlife corridors, the traditional plants and herbs. They create gardens, they create ceremonial spaces, and the land tax also supports return and reinterment of sacred Ohlone artifacts. And this land tax supports the creation of cemeteries for the return of those remains. So this is as an example, a very early one, of how we can do sorry and say sorry. This is a first step toward taking reparative action. The Oakland Rotary Club has been a pioneer. I gently challenge you to make history and continue this legacy by perhaps becoming the first or one of the first clubs in the nation to recognize, take responsibility for, take action to repair harm to the Indigenous peoples of this land. Perhaps you as a club can pay the tax. Since you operate on Ohlone land, perhaps you can strongly encourage all 300 members of this club and their businesses to pay the Shuumi land tax. You can Google Shuumi, SHUUMI, land tax, to learn more about the land tax and how to calculate it and pay it. Now, turning to restorative justice, although I have to say that what I have already been talking about is a form of restorative justice, how we take accountability for collective harms, for historical harms. Restorative justice, as Rotarian Griggs said earlier, is a healing justice. It has been dawning on the stage of human history since the mid-90s. I know that many of you, or some of you in the audience, may already be familiar with restorative justice fundamentals, but please bear with me for the next few moments while we show this very short video that I think is a good summary of the fundamentals. It's a 3-minute video. Thank you.
If crime hurts, then justice should heal. That's Fania Davis. It makes sense, right? Unfortunately, that's not what we're doing. In the US, there are 2.2 million people behind bars and nearly 5 million on probation and parole in a system of mass incarceration laden with racial injustices that disproportionately affect minority communities. 1 out of every 14 children has a parent in prison, destroying the health, stability, and resources of entire communities. This is the retributive justice system, and it operates on the theory that punishing people for crime makes them stop. It's hugely expensive, destructive to the human spirit, and worst of all, it doesn't work. Psychiatrist James Gilligan even calls it the most powerful stimulant of violence that we've yet discovered. People are looking for another system. Fortunately, there is one. It's called restorative justice. It focuses less on punishing the crime and more on holding people accountable in order to heal the harm. Restorative justice is based on who we really are. We're designed to live in community, to be of service to one another, and to nurture and repair our relationships. Where the retributive system asks, who did it, what rule was broken, and how do we punish them? Restorative justice asks, what is the harm? Who has been harmed? How do we repair it? Here's how it works. All the stakeholders get a chance to be heard in a facilitated process that balances the needs of victims, offenders, and the community. The person harmed explains how he or she was hurt. This itself is healing as it meets the need for acknowledgement, validation, and repair. The person who did the harm is held accountable in a new way. They're also given the opportunity to accept responsibility for their actions, which is also healing, share their perspectives, and to make amends for the harm they caused in the relationships that were broken. The whole community has a chance to address the underlying problems that gave rise to the situation, and then everyone works together to find a way to restore balance and offer healing to all stakeholders. In restorative and community justice, the concept of beloved community and living in right relationship is key. You're restoring justice and just relationships within the whole community. Does it work? Well, look at this. In the prison system, wherever restorative justice is tried, recidivism has plummeted. In schools, switching to restorative justice drops suspension, improving students' educational and social well-being while reducing bullying and other manifestations of violence. And it costs next to nothing by comparison. One teacher said, "Every time I used the retributive system, I lost a relationship. Every time I use this new system, I gain one." Restorative justice is justice that works, justice that transforms, justice that heals. Now that sounds like something we all want more of in our communities, so spread the word in yours.
Okay, great. I just want to do a quick time check. President Thompson, how much time do I have left? I think we started a little late. Anyway, all right, I'll try
We can
to.
go to the end, or we can handle some questions. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a few more comments. I'll cut the comments that I have so we can have a little bit more time for questions. So as you can see, restorative justice invites a paradigm shift in the way that we think about and do justice. Restorative justice is a justice reimagined. The prevailing justice system is based on the Roman notion of just deserts, meaning if I harm you, this creates an imbalance in the scales of justice. The only way for the scales to be rebalanced is for harm to be caused to me. And so if I cause harm, I must be harmed, whether suspended or expelled in school settings or punished and incarcerated in justice settings. This is our way. Our system, our approach harms people who harm people, presumably to show that harming people is wrong. We model exactly the behavior that we say we condemn. And of course, this systemic harm is disproportionately meted out on Black people and people of color. But this approach only multiplies and replicates and reproduces harm, right? An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth leaves the whole world blind and toothless, said Mahatma Gandhi. And Dr. King says, we cannot expel darkness with darkness, only light can do that. And so restorative justice is the light of justice. It invites a paradigm shift, as I said earlier, from a justice that harms to a justice that heals. This is a relational justice. It seeks to nurture relationships and repair them rather than damage them further, like our adversarial justice system does. The way that we do justice essentially emerges from the ways we as human beings respond to conflict. And I've identified 3 different ways. Some people strike back in vengeance. Retaliation is the first way. But of course, as I said, that only replicates pain and hurt and creates and increases rather the collective energies of harm in the universe. Others are conflict averse. So avoidance is the second way. But avoidance doesn't work either because it's like a wound that stays in the dark and festers and gets infected and never sees the light of day and never heals. And the third way is to lean into conflict, lean into harm. Leaning in allows both parties to learn, grow, and perhaps transform and heal from their mistakes and from that harm. So I ask, how do you respond rather? Do you retaliate? Do you avoid? Do you lean into conflict? Or is there a response that is a combination of all of those? Restorative justice, of course, takes the third way, leaning into the conflict in ways that are intended to help people grow and learn. But, and again, this is what Rotarian Griggs said earlier, restorative justice is more than a way of responding to conflict reactively. It is a way of life that is rooted in ancient wisdom traditions that center values of radical respect and relationship and responsibility. And these are the 3 R's of restorative justice values: respect, relationship, responsibility. I talked earlier about the 4 R's of restorative justice accountability. These are the values. So respect. And this value, I think of Sawubona, which is a Zulu greeting. It's a traditional greeting, which is translated as, I see you. I see your goodness. I see your spirit. I see the gift that you are to the world. You as a human being are inherently good. Everyone has equal moral worth and dignity. And it's akin to namaste. The divinity in me bows to the divinity in you. So that's the first value of restorative justice, respect. And the second is relationship. Restorative justice is a worldview rooted in Ubuntu, again, an African core value, a profoundly communitarian view of Southern Africa that translated means, I am because we are, and we are because I am. I am a relational being. I am who I am because of my relationships. Without my relationships, I'm nothing. Restorative justice is based on the Lakota Sioux core value of Mitaki o Yasin. We are all relatives. We are here on this earth to learn to nurture one another, take care of one another. In Lakesh is the Mayan core value, meaning you are the other me. I am the other you. And of course, modern science, the new sciences of quantum physics, systems theory, complexity theory, are all beginning to understand what the ancients have known for millennia about the inherently interrelated structure of reality, as Dr. King has called it. The third value is responsibility. The first, respect. The second, relationship. The third is responsibility. We exist in a web of reciprocality and interrelationship, for good or bad. COVID-19 is an example of how it can be for the bad. But precisely because we're so connected, we have a responsibility to live in right relationship. And if we hurt one another, if we make a mistake, if we hurt one another, we are responsible for acknowledging that harm, taking responsibility for it, taking action to repair it and prevent recurrence. The 4 elements of restorative justice accountability. Now, when practiced in schools in ways that center racial justice and its indigenous roots, restorative justice creates cultures of healing, cultures of connectivity. It interrupts the racialized school to prison pipeline. And in our schools, it has significantly reduced violence. And in the criminal justice system, it disrupts racialized mass incarceration. It slashes recidivism rates. So I want to talk just a little bit about the school to prison pipeline and a bit about the work that we've been doing in Oakland for the last almost 15 years in restorative justice, and then open it up to questions from you. So the school to prison pipeline refers to criminalizing our children instead of educating them. A parallel with the rise of mass incarceration in the 1970s, schools became prisonized, we say, especially schools in communities of color. They started looking like and behaving like prisons with security cameras, metal detectors, increased surveillance, wand searches, and growing police presence. How many of you have been in a school recently, especially in a school in a community of color? Schools have also developed policies that mandate wider use of suspensions, expulsions, arrests for ordinary childlike or adolescent behavior. Adolescents, for example, having a food fight in the cafeteria, that's criminalized. They are criminalized as engaging in reckless conduct or even engaging in assault. And I know personally students who have been arrested for having these adolescent food fights in the cafeteria. Doodling on one's desk is criminalized as defacing public property. How many of you wrote on your desk when you were growing up? I certainly did. A 6-year-old who's having a temper tantrum is handcuffed and arrested for assault. So these are examples of the school to prison pipeline. Also, children are automatically suspended or expelled to punish them for rule violations, such as using a cell phone in class, defying a teacher, tardiness. This also contributes to the school to prison pipeline. Being suspended once in the 9th grade triples the chance that that child will be incarcerated. It doubles the dropout rate. And when our children drop out, that puts them at very high risk for adult incarceration. Because if you look around the nation today, 75% of inmates in state prisons are high school dropouts. So keeping a child in school is the strongest predictor of a successful future. It's the strongest protective factor against youth incarceration. Therefore, strong school-based restorative justice programs that decrease suspensions and arrests are one of the most important ways to stem mass incarceration. So just a little bit about Oakland. I co-created a nonprofit youth organization, Restorative Justice for Oakland Youth, Our Joy. I'm no longer the director of that organization. I retired a couple of years ago, but continue to work with it. Our first pilot program was in 2007 in a school in West Oakland, and because of positive outcomes, and student organizing, the entire school district adopted restorative justice as public policy. And so it is official policy today. By organizing and using restorative justice instead of punitive discipline when kids engage in wrongdoing, we have been able to slash suspension and arrest rates and save thousands of children from the school to prison pipeline. Racial disparities in suspensions are beginning to fall as well. And at schools where we have restorative justice programs, children learn to talk through instead of fight through their differences. Violence and bullying have also been decreased as a result of these programs. So why don't I stop there? And if anyone wants to, get an example, I can tell some stories about actual cases, but why don't I stop there? So
I think we're using our time here. So I'm going to just very much thank you, everybody.
I have one question, Dudley, if that's allowed.
I can't tell you how much we appreciate your being with us today. We had everybody on Zoom heard the entire message. We had a little glitch in the ballroom, but everybody here can watch it. We put it on YouTube later, so your message will stay with us. Dr. Davis, this year we're highlighting the new Rotary area of focus, the environment. In your honor, we're making a donation to the Environmental Sustainability Rotary Action Group, SRAG, towards their focus on biodiversity, sustainable living, pollution, the climate, food systems, and a circular economy. I just so much thank you for being a part of our Civic Thursday Club meeting today. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Visiting, do we have any visiting Rotarians today?
We get to talk? Yeah, sure. Good afternoon. My name is Ken Pond. I am from the Rotary Club of San Leandro, also a Cal Bear from the class of 71. Go Bears!
Thank you, Diane Dorn, San Leandro Club, Assistant Governor for Area 4A, and I'm happy to have my brother and sister here today.
Good afternoon. I'm Christina Sayer from the San Leandro Club of San Leandro. Whoops, the Rotary Club of San Leandro. Sorry, so nice to be with you again. Thank you.
President Dudley, I am pleased to welcome Jean Rains again. She was so impressed with the presentation last week that she contributed to the Rotary Foundation. And Joe Geralta said, hold it, we need to make you a member right away. He didn't quite get it done, but she submitted her application. And Jean Rains, please stand up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. I have with me today Dwayne Akins, who is one of the co-founders of WELO, who we'll hear from in a second, as well as Miss Andrea, who is on his board for WELO. Thank you all for being with us today.
Thank you, Gary. Okay, Sean Marks, could you come up? This November is TRF month, and the last 2 weeks we've had presentations about projects we've done. Sean is going to share one with us today. By the way, Ken, I don't know if you remember, but with Metropolitan Golf 10 years ago, thanks so much. Actually,
We are in Magori Town,
that's
Kenya.
the Cal band warming up. And I'm going to ring the bell for Ken Pond here.
I'm breaking over.
Thank you, President Dudley. I'm past President Sean Marks, and I think we have a video, yes? To start.
Yeah, it's Dr. Benny on the beat. That's another. I'm breaking over. We just living life, man. I'm thanking God for life.
We are in Magori Town, Kenya, and we're on our way out to Nyasogo Primary School to see what a rural Kenya primary school looks like.
What's the name of this school?
Nyasogo Primary School.
What form are you in?
The classrooms are very rough ever since their main classroom block fell down in a storm a few years ago. This classroom has only 4 desks for 25 students and a sloped dirt floor where the rainwater runs across in the storms. Now, the latrines are pretty rough too. They stink, they're unhygienic, they're falling down, and they're not accessible to handicapped people. Most schools get their water from a contaminated source like this. We tested one, and this is what we got. The red dots are just general bacterial contamination. The blue dots are coliform, which will make the students ill. These are the girls from Nyasoga Primary School fetching water. And yes, it is always the girls. They have to carry the water about 20 minutes hike up to the school way in the distance.
Dreaming toppers, we want some robbers. It's better for the time, Papa. Maybe it's not your time. I'm keeping this so high, road. We thank you one more time. It's been 2 days. We're working hard on holidays. We want a chance, no expecting games. We're working so hard. We're sweating so bad. We happy the ones. It's all of our hands. That's another.
Thank you, Jack. If you put the PowerPoint up, that'd be great. So that's an introduction to a Rotary project we did last Rotary year. It's a Rotary wash project, and it's in Kenya on Lake Victoria. Guess I'm waiting on the PowerPoint, but there we go. And so this project itself was in oh, that's not mine though. This project was in collaboration with LA and Louisville, Kentucky. We've done a number of projects with Louisville, Kentucky, I think over the last 5 or 6 years, as well as the Suna Club in Kenya. And the total amount we spent on this project was about $64,000. Oakland Rotary put about almost 19 in. And what the project is, go to the next slide, is basically 2 water filtration systems on the lake itself. What the water filtration systems do is they pump water out of the lake using a solar powered pump. They filter and clean the water, and then the water goes into 2 20,000 gallon storage tanks and is dispensed to the villagers through water ATMs, where they walk up with their bottle and they fill it with clean drinking water. You can see at the bottom of the little PowerPoint there, prior to having clean water in these 2 villages in Kenya, what the infection rates was in the children there. So the 2 filtration systems will be community owned, and they'll be operated via an entrepreneur who will basically oversee the maintenance of it, deal with whatever issues go on with it, keep the ATMs working, et cetera. And for that, they'll receive some money. The funding that the ATMs raise will also fund a community healthcare program, and some of the money will be kept to fund a future additional water station somewhere on Lake Victoria in Kenya as well. So this is an amazing project. It's actually the third WASH project that I've been a part of. One of them, I was a part at the infancy of identifying the project and dealing with the local village. That was in El Salvador. We've done a couple in El Salvador. And, you know, I'm a 28-year Rotarian. And it wasn't until the year before I became president that I got involved with World Community Service. And one of the things you do as you're getting ready to be president is you spend time going to each committee's meeting. And I noticed a rather beautiful woman in the World Community Service meeting, so I kept going back to them. And somehow she convinced me to go to El Salvador to look in on a couple projects, which we did, and it was just amazing. And I probably donated through my company maybe $300,000 to ORE over the years. Well, with my exposure to what the Rotary Foundation does and what World Community Service does, I've made that a real commitment for myself. So the following year, we went down to Guatemala. You saw last week, Renea presented one of the projects we did down there. And this project we heard about through our connect with the Louisville Club, who helped us with the 2 El Salvador projects we did. So it's Rotary Foundation Month. I want to encourage everyone to give. Thank you to those who have already given. And today, I would like to make Renea Webb a second level Paul Harris Fellow, or is it third? So Renea, you are now a second level Paul Harris Fellow. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. So this month is Rotary Foundation Month, and we're asking you to contribute. When we joined Rotary, we made a commitment to support the Rotary Foundation and the Oakland Rotary Endowment, which pay for the service work of Rotary. This year, I've been asking people who come to the podium why they joined Rotary. The first response is about relationships, especially to help us improve our own occupations. But then people say they stay to be involved to improve Oakland and the world. Most of us want to focus on Oakland, but we learn the importance of working together with those other 36,000 clubs made up of 1.2 million members. And that Rotary is the most important service organization in the world. A couple years ago, I became aware of a story that brought this home to me. Cliff Docterman, a local Rotarian and past international president, he tells us some details when he was chair of the Rotary Foundation. He says, we had a call one day when I was chairman from the World Health Organization saying that they had arranged for a 4-day ceasefire in a civil war in Sudan so we could go in and immunize the children. But the WHO did not have any money to purchase the vaccine. I said, how much does it take? It was going to cost $400,000. I said, you can have it immediately from the Rotary Foundation. The chairman can make a grant up to $500,000 for emergency humanitarian effort. The war stopped, health workers went in and immunized 3 or 4 million children. Then the war started again. The World Health Organization said, of all the places, I always break up when I say this. Sorry. Of all the places in the world, there was nowhere we could turn except Rotary to make that project happen. Clearly, without the efforts of Rotary, the achievements to eradicate polio would never have happened. A few weeks ago, I highlighted World Polio Day and told that after polio being one of the most feared disease epidemics, we are now down to only 2 cases of wild polio, one in Afghanistan and one in Pakistan. For the past 3 years, about a month ago, the Associated Press reported, for the past 3 years, the Taliban barred UN organized vaccination teams from doing door-to-door campaigns in parts of Afghanistan under their control, apparently out of suspicion that they could be spies for the government or the West. Because of the ban, the ongoing fighting, some 3.3 million children over the past 3 years have not been vaccinated. The Taliban has now reported that they were showing a willingness to cooperate with international agencies and allow the vaccination of these children. But our Rotary Foundation does so much more. One of the areas of focus is peace and conflict resolution. In 1945, Rotary was instrumental in the formation of the United Nations. The United States invited 45 organizations as consultants for the formulation of the Charter of the United Nations. Rotary International was allowed 3 representatives, but in addition, other nations from Africa, Asia, Europe, North and South America had Rotarians as their representatives. We currently have the highest consultative status offered to a non-governmental organization by the United Nations Economic and Social Council. We continue to have 6 international peace centers at 7 prestigious universities in England, Thailand, Japan, Australia, Sweden, and Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And a new center is opening this year in Uganda. The eradication of polio and the teaching of peace are big picture areas of Rotary, but our club is involved in ground making, on the ground, making real changes in people's lives. Over the past 3 years, we have sponsored grants improving income and food security affected by climate change in Guatemala. Peter Sherrish told us about that project last week. We have a project right now that we're putting together providing computers and training for the education of blind girls in Ethiopia. Renea Webb, a couple of weeks ago, explained the project we have for improving medical care for mothers and babies in Guatemala. Sean has shared one of our water projects. We've done water projects in Guatemala, El Salvador, India, Kenya. We've also provided laparoscopy equipment for a hospital in India, provided endoscopic surgery equipment for people with spina bifida in India, and provided kidney dialysis equipment in Sri Lanka. Those are just the last 3 years. A few of our members have made a very generous challenge to the club to encourage members to donate to the foundation. Last year, almost 90% of our members donated from $25 to $50,000. Today, we're only at 28% of this. 28% of our members so far have donated. This is the last week we'll be speaking from the podium. So I can only encourage you to please join all of us in making your contribution to the Rotary Foundation. Thank you. Renea, would you please come up? Oh, I'm sorry, Leanne. Of course, Leanne's co-chair here. There are donation forms on all of your tables. Please, if you haven't done so, please fill one out. Thank you. You may use my table. As long as you leave all these Christmas presents.
For sure. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all so very much to President Dudley and to our Community Service Committee for just allowing our club to participate in this beautiful coat drive. I'm just so proud of us all. We have probably collected over about 350 articles of coats, and I can't even thank Miss Teresa enough. She literally has sewn over 100 beautiful, or knitted, I'm sorry, over 100 beautiful caps for our kids and our family. And so I just thank you all so very much. And our Rotarians literally have gone over and beyond. Miss Ruth, our insurance lady, just went crazy and just purchased things. So many people, Steve Nichols, past president, said that he's going to be making another donation of coats. And so I just want to share so much love and gratitude for you all and introduce Mr. Dwayne Akins, who is here, one of the co-founders of WELO. And also we have Miss Andrea, I know I just pronounced it wrong again, who is one of our board members. And just extend also, before they get up, any of you all that want to participate on Saturday, December 4th, to volunteer to help distribute these wonderful coats, scarves, and hats to the community. It'll take place on December 4th from 11 to 2 p.m. at Brookdale Park. I definitely will be there, and I think it'll be such a lovely time for us to share these gifts of love with our community. And so without further ado, here's Mr. Dwayne Akins.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me today and inviting me into your space. And thank you all so much for pouring into your hearts and supporting We Lead Ours, support the community of Oakland, and just really what's going on in our community is so much. And I'm at awe to be in such a great space and presence with people that are doing the work from the bottom of their hearts, taking time out of their busy lives to give back and to work and to bring others into the space. We Lead Ours was founded 11 years ago. We turned 12 in January, and we started this organization with $500. We never been funded by the federal government. We do everything through networking and just doing the work. I don't pay myself what California executive directors of nonprofits pay themselves, but I'm all right. And it's because of individuals like you in this room, these two lovely young ladies that go above and beyond the call of duty to make things happen. Without volunteers in this space, you can't do much. And so I'm just thankful that you all have wrapped into the vision of We Lead Ours, always bring something new and fresh. This idea of Coat Drive, this was all Mrs. Smith's idea. And she was like, I want to do something. I want to do something for the homeless, because in addition to being a board member, Ms. Smith is also the founder of her own nonprofit, Speaking to the Mic. And what I love about it, and I've always talked about her through the mentorship and partnership, nonprofits can't do the work alone. It's going to take the whole community of nonprofits to get together, to work together, so that we can know where all the resources is. So again, I thank you all for allowing us into your space and to be a part of this. And I am restorative justice certified. I have those books at the house, and I practice it anytime I'm working with young people. You want to say?
Just thank you so much. And like Renia said, we will have volunteer shifts on December 4th. From 9 o'clock, we'll be up there packing hygiene kits. We got a lot of donations where we're just packing hygiene kits with all different type of goodies. We'll be distributing the coats. So it's actually going to be set up like a store. So we were able to get shoes and books donated. So super excited. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, and I'll make sure you guys have my email and phone number. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, somebody's knocking at the door. Come on in. It's great to have you with us today. Of course, do I have some volume, Peter? Of course, this is the year that Cal gave us their full set. We contracted for 3 songs, right? I'm gonna make quick announcements. If you can stay fine, we want to get them on recording. First of all, tonight, Cocktails with the President, Moxie Hotel. Next, the Friday after Thanksgiving is the Warriors game at the new Parkway Theater. We have tickets. Tickets are available online. On Tuesday, December 7th is the golf tournament. Contact Mike Mowry. And Thursday, December 9th, and this is the most important at all, we'll keep sending stuff out. Rotary has contracted the Train of Lights in Niles Canyon. It's great for you. It's great for your kids. It's great for your grandkids. Please bring them. We'll be dark for next week, and then in December, we're dark for 2 weeks. Friday, January 7th, we have the Sound Room Broadway Comedy Nights. We have tickets for that. And Thursday, February 3rd is Lunar New Year dinner. Watch for more upcoming in February for Black History Month. Thank you all. Thanks, Louis Griggs. Thanks, Phinia Davis. Thanks, Sean Marks, Joe Goralka, Carla Betts, Renea Webb, Robert Kidd. Thanks for making the announcement that you didn't make. Don't keep Rotary secret. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.